Yeah, this is going to be a good spot to find tracks for sure.
We're going to take a picture. Look, you filming this?
Yeah, right from the parking lot.
50 foot in.
We've already found a black bear track. You don't think it's a mountain lion track would have
There's
claws.
another one over there. It's too wide.
Yeah.
And it's got, you can see a little bit of claw. Mountain lions do not, they have the recessed claw, and they don't walk with the claws out. It's only when they're aggressive. I'd say
I'm just kind of looking at the size. I don't think it'd be a mountain lion. That'd be too big.
7 inches wide and about 4 3/4 in depth, and that would be a large bear.
Yeah.
I mean that, because they are wider than, I would say that's probably adult bear. I don't think it's a small one. You want to get a pic of this, Joseph? Man, we're just in 50 feet.
And what's that right there? Is that like his front?
No,
Or is that something
that's
else? Because it looks like he's walking that way, towards the parking lot.
It's a canine. See the pad? See the claws?
Yeah.
Now if it's a coyote, it's big. And there's the other bear print over there. Looks like they're kind of, the bear and the canine were on the same path.
Yeah.
Sometimes predators will follow the same trail in search of game.
Very cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of trout fish over there, and
Well, these bears were probably being close to the Merrimack or whatever area we're at. Is probably trying to get some trout or fish. They know.
Isn't it crazy how like the highway sounds disappear, and like we haven't really drove that far?
But it's just right over there. I haven't heard a thing.
Yeah.
We got another bear right here. Very interesting.
Yeah, good find, man.
Let's look around, see where he came from, where did he go to. Cryptid report was, my brother said it was 3 times the size of a German Shepherd. So, but right in that corner of that field, we did find that same bear print and a 16-inch Squatch print. So I don't know if them two are hanging out together, probably not, but more likely they cross paths.
Yeah. And you find a lot of prints. How many of them are like perfect? Have you found any?
Perfect?
Yeah.
Actually, I found some, and my best one I've ever found was $1 million cast. My first one.
So you got some really good casts?
Not so much.
Yeah, I don't have any yet. I mean, I found some, but like I told you yesterday, you know, it's really hard to cast a good track, and they kind of fall apart. It's hard to get the mix right.
You lose definition also when you cast, which I'm going to do some research and try to improve on my casting. I mean, some people say it's easy, just mix it up and pour it out. There's just a lot of stuff involved. You got to moisten the track. And my very first print, which got me onto tracking, was in, I think, 2016. I really didn't have nothing to do with Bigfoot. And my brother heard some hooping and hollering down in the creek, and we heard it. It kind of sounded like a man-bear pig. We're like, what's that? It's nothing. I kind of jokingly said, you know, it's not a deer.
Sorry, go ahead. I just want to pause in this corner. I like to pause in the corners of meadows where trails come in. So that's where I find a lot of tracks.
Crossroads. And we heard it, and we're like, it's not a deer, turkey, bear. So we went down there the next day, and middle of January, it's cold, you know, 31 degrees in the daytime, nighttime freezing, and I found some consecutive prints, barefooted, 14.5 inch, and I also found a baby. It was, I presumed a baby because it was like 11.5, and I casted them. But the best cast I had was, she was walking up on the hill out of the creek, front half of the foot, and it perfect soft mud.
Really?
Perfect print. I've never had anything like that since then.
That's cool.
So I went back and casted it, and I broke off 3 toes. So I had the 2 big toes, and I left the other 3 in the ground because they were together. Covered it up with sticks, limbs, and I had brush on it this tall. Went back that weekend. The whole hillside was dug out 2 foot. And this is the middle of nowhere, middle of winter time.
Mhm.
No one's going to be there. The whole, I mean, it was just like dug out. But I do have the two, the big toes.
Yeah.
And they're a little bigger than my toe, but the, what I presume was a mama squatch was 14.5-inch long print.
Really?
So that's what got me started for the most part.
Yeah, that's awesome. You can't deny their existence when you find something like that.
Who's going to be walking around the middle of Missouri, middle of nowhere, around a creek, by a bridge with glass, rocks, in the middle of winter time, barefooted? There was no shoes. I mean, it was barefooted.
Yeah.
But, you know, the 14.5-inch, you think, well, that's not squatch, that's not very big. But, you know, some females, I've seen a female, she only weighed 275, probably 6'2", 6'3". I mean, she wasn't extreme.
Mm-hmm. And you're judging the weight from the size of the foot?
Yeah, just looking at the mass, because I've...
And visual sightings that people have.
Visual sightings, and she wasn't that... I mean, she might have been wide at the shoulders like a linebacker, but she was really thin from front to back like this, more like a really good athlete, and she did run good.
I heard her. I heard a stick break.
This is some nice Texas little creek here, a little bit
Joseph
of mud.
warned us. He showed us that feather, and then might as well just leave it on, Miguel, because you're going to miss Patty, I'm telling you.
I know.
That is the squatch print. Feel the toes.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so. Feel it? That's a squatch, dude.
I mean, if this was wet, oh look at this, you get the ridge in the middle.
That's what I noticed.
Dude, there you go, right there.
But before you spread it apart, I noticed it was like in the shape of a foot.
This might be something else.
This is it. Yeah, we got, if this was wet, this is an area where there's a creek coming up. If this is wet through here. Yeah.
This might be something else right here. I think that's a
I have, you know, the tractors that cruise through here, they've got these angled tires, you know, they angle those tire ridges.
Mm.
Sometimes you'll say, oh, well, that's not quite right. That's not a tire ridge though.
Right.
Let's look for another print, consecutive.
No, this would be good Sasquatch habitat because the river's right there.
That tire print could have went.
That's a tire print.
Okay, he's going this way.
We're getting ready.
Hidden right in plain sight.
What do you got?
Turtle. Mud turtle.
Oh, nasty little guy. Trying to stay cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. You got the right idea.
He does. Pretty soon he's gonna have to move into the shade. Sun's catching up to him.
Well, we already know there's turkeys here.
Well, we just scared the crap out of
On my mountain bike.
Yeah.
Bob Giblin film wouldn't be nothing.
Right. I mean, I'll roll the GoPro too. Might as well, right?
Yeah.
I got it right there.
You might be able to pick up some sounds.
So back here, I saw these 3 little heads when I was looking for some hunting spots, and they were like 3 black heads, and they shot back into the bushes. But I was like, I don't know what that was. You know, that could have been raccoons, but right here in the center strip, I heard like a vine get ripped down, and like something crashed through the water. It could have been a big buck, but it was a weird experience.
How
And then I heard knocks up on that ridge back there, way up there, like low to the ground. They were like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 black heads in the bushes.
Could have been,
and when I looked, they shot back into the bushes. So
could have been bear,
yeah.
triplets, probably possible, but the wood knock is something different.
And then after I left that area, I about stepped on the biggest copperhead I've ever seen in my life. She like slithered across the road, but luckily she wasn't like coiled up ready to strike. She just took off.
That's good.
Yeah, but I heard her slither. Oh, I do hear that.
It's over here. FYI. Three-toed deer. There it is here.
Did it do a double step or? You don't think so?
Yeah, look at it. It's 3 and then 3.
You never know.
I think some bucks do have a dewy claw thing, don't they?
Yeah. Kind of weird if they mess around in the same spot.
That's got good clarity.
Think so?
I think there's bass and stuff in there. There gotta be.
I just seen a
not too cold. If there's a spring, it may be up that way, or it might be just an offshoot of the river.
Yeah,
one of those dead end spots.
It's a bunch of like walnuts or something growing here. Hickory nuts. But this place used to be loaded with soybeans. And
you know, guys, I might, if we don't find nothing, I might cast that bear print on the way back.
okay. Yeah.
I should have did it now, and by the time I got back, it'd have been dry, but it won't take long for it to dry today.
Yeah.
15 minutes. So I don't have a good bear print yet, and I think that'll cast good.
Yeah, there's normally a lot of animals bedded in here. What's that right there?
I don't know.
Is that something dead?
Dead deer or something.
It looked like a carcass.
Yeah, it looks like scattered bones that have got a glimpse from a distance.
Yeah. It was a strip like this, like I was telling you, and it just sounded like something big was in there and crashed down from the tree and splashed in the water. And it was right after I thought I saw something.
It makes sense, because they have, I believe they have day watchers, and they do knocks and howls, and they'll have one on each ridge, and that when they communicate, they're not that so far off to the next one on the next ridge that they can't knock or, you know, communicate between them and let the clan know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good watch point.
Yep.
Maybe it wouldn't make much sense for them to be here during the day, but at nighttime they come down into these spots like this and terrorize people.
Pretty well.
Nighttime, 11:40 when they actually start.
Yeah.
In my experience.
Yeah.
I think it's like the Jack Link's beef jerky commercial, but it's actually opposite, because they'll come into camps. I wouldn't say terrorize people, but they more like mess with people and campers, throw rocks at their dogs and campers, and they get close. And I think it's probably the juvenile males that cause most of the trouble. I don't think the females really do that kind of shenanigans. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like high school kids and junior high boys. They're the ones that get in the most trouble.
Definitely you can have some fun in here doing some research. I like to come out in the fall, in the winter, and find their freshest structures possible.
Yeah.
And then I'll start putting up the recorders and figure out, okay, where's the party?
Yeah.
Find the party.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then,
Look at this. Go ahead. Look like this.
yeah. You know, this is an area the deer will just kind of take naps right here. They're just literally laid out.
And they can
can
watch
see.
the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got the river to their back.
They do this in our pasture every night. They come in out of the woods and they'll just lay up
At the edge.
away from the coyotes. Yeah.
And they can see them coming a mile away.
They just lay down.
I should have brought my knocking stick. Guys,
Yeah, I was gonna say this is where all the deer tracks really start picking up.
they're everywhere we go. Honey would have got shot.
It took off. It looked like something brown was there and just took off that way. I didn't know if you guys heard it.
I heard
A lot of deer tracks, fresh tracks back over there.
Yeah, this would be the spot they'd like to bed. Is right in there.
What a perfect, what a place, a nice place to bed down.
Can you imagine if we were here at night? It would be insane. All the sounds we'd hear at night.
Right. There's a lot of animals around here. I like the recording. I put up audio stuff where I see stuff. You hear some stuff. I recorded this apple munching squatch up in Lincoln County. It was a Class A sighting area, and this girl reported it, and I went up there and just followed the BFRO procedure, structures, microphones. And I got a little rascal that was just absolutely chomping away on apples every Friday. I drop them off and chowing them down.
Yeah.
But you can hear it intimately, you know. You get a good audio recorder by a structure that's really active, and I'll put it like 15 feet up, hang it right above the spot, and I'll leave it up. It comes on at 9 o'clock, shuts off at 6 a.m. I'll go back and pick it up a couple weeks later. Saves me a lot of travel. I pop it in Audacity, and I just look for the sounds. That particular spot had a grain mill across the street, so when you're there, it's a white noise. So I work with BFRO audio expert Stephen Moon. He's a really nice guy. He gave me the finer points of filtering out noise, you know, noise reduction. I don't know if you guys ever messed with that, but we did some noise reduction sweeps, and I couldn't hear it at first. Walk up to the area, but he said, "Oh yeah, you've got you've got something bipedal going on. And he passed it over to another one of his colleagues, and yeah, there's something bipedal there. I did one passive noise reduction. I could hear it stomping up through the leaves, 2 feet. Then one more layer of noise reduction, and literally it turned off all the extra stuff was turned off. You could hear this thing like sitting across a little coffee table, chewing an apple and just eating it.
Yeah.
So I started Googling raccoons eating apples, deer eating. I'm trying to match it up to a possibility because I hung these apples up high. Well, maybe a raccoon got up and knocked it down. I had to hear a raccoon eating apples just to see what it sounded like. It sounds like somebody's just, you know, just tearing things to pieces. There's an episode of Saturday Night Live with a little monkey man where he shreds an apple and spits it. That's what the raccoon did. It was just a mess. But this, whatever was chomping these apples, was like literally like a human sitting across the table from you, and just, it was hungry. I kind of felt bad because this thing was hungry. It was waiting for me to put these apples out every time, and it was just crunching, 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 and then the rest of the night it would just loiter around and play with rocks.
You could hear it like rock and stuff.
It was just playing with rocks on the riverbed. It was right on the river, like the Merrimack, but it was the Quiver River, and. So I have yet to scout the area and get close. I have a hunch I know where they're hanging in the summertime. I haven't told anybody about it, but that's another one of those areas. It's a little like 40 minutes north of me, so it's a little farther out. But yeah, I know they definitely go up and down that river. A lot of the locals reported it, and the sighting was reported by a woman and her mother, and she grew up there and heard them screaming her whole life. You know, it's funny, you meet people, they live near them, they hear these screams, and it's like, well, coyotes, whatever. If one of us who don't have them screaming in our backyard comes out, you hear that scream, and it's like, what the hell is that? Yeah, you know?
We're used to hearing the noises around there.
Yeah. And that's when I first started looking into it. I got hooked up with the BFRO, and we went out to these little spots, and you start hearing stuff you've never heard before. I've been up to Canada and all over the country. I haven't heard these screams. But if you focus on them, you know where to go. Follow a very disciplined method. You can get good results.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you notice a sign and take notice.
I'm just happy seeing their handiwork with their structures and hearing them. I'm happy with that. If I get a little video, a thermal video, all the better. But I just get enough. I get a kick out of just knowing that they're there, and they're just fascinating. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. You hear that?
That was a loud.
Yeah.
Would not go
up on that hill.
Hope that camera picked it up. Yeah, we all concur. It came from over there.
It was like.
Yeah. Single.
Let's see how far I can zoom in.
There it went again.
Oh yeah. They're at our vehicle.
5 knots. I've never heard that many. That's a big knot. I've never heard that many. There was a single, then 5. That's around where our vehicles are. Yeah,
there's no gun range on this conservation site. Yeah, there's no fire range.
I normally tuck a microphone on the back of my head. I didn't bring my mic today.
I wonder if that picked that up.
I don't know. Sounds big though.
If it's continuous, it might not be Bigfoot.
Those are pawpaws, and Sasquatch are reported to eat those from time to time.
Are they edible? They are edibles?
Yeah, but they get like the size of mangoes.
Oh.
These taste delicious.
I've never had one.
In the fall. Eat them in the fall, though. Don't pick them now.
Ow.
Itchweed.
They'll just fall to the ground on their own.
I smell them.
When they just start to fall, is when you want to pick them.
Yeah.
So they taste like mangoes?
Well,
they kind of look like them.
Somewhere between a kiwi, a mango, and a strawberry. They're absolutely delicious.
That's good.
Yeah.
And
that's North America's only tropical fruit.
Really?
Native tropical.
You know, I don't know if we have them in the Cape.
You got them. They're in Missouri. Probably going to be. Those are. This.
What does it smell like?
Once they're mature.
You have that one.
Once they're mature, they're going to be about 3.5, 4 inches long. They're kind of like a big They look like a giant pea pod. You got some fire, something on you.
Yeah, itchweed.
But those things
Could be
will
itching
much
for a while.
bigger. They'll be about triple this size or a little bigger, and you're gonna see them. You'll see one or two on the ground. You'll see the tree. As soon as you find them on the ground at the end of the summer, I'd say mid to late September, maybe first week of October. But they'll once they start dropping, man, the birds get them.
Yeah, they say you don't want to eat the ones off the tree, and same with persimmons. You want to eat the ones that fall to the ground, or else they'll have like this bitter taste to them.
Huh, I don't
Yeah,
know if
pick
we
the
got
fallen
those
ones.
down there, guys, to be honest with you.
I've seen them at the Current River.
I'll have to remember that. That's a sycamore tree there.
It looks like someone beat the crap out of that tree.
Rock. Something broke it off.
Yeah, it's broken off about 9 feet high.
I wonder if lightning hit it.
What was that?
I heard something.
You hear that?
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was a weird sound.
I don't know what that sound was though.
I think one could be watching us way up on that hill.
It'd be halfway up.
Yeah.
The river's on the other, is in between that at the crest, right?
Yeah, the river's right there.
Could be somebody hollering too.
It could be.
It was pretty close though.
I thought I heard it like right behind us.
I heard it like maybe at that wood line.
Okay.
Right over in there.
I wasn't sure where I heard it from.
I'm ready to do a wood knock here. There's that tree coming up here. This is probably gonna hurt.
Probably. Or maybe he was up in there and tried to get that limb out of the way. But see that break right there? That break is the same height as that other one on that tree.
Yeah, look, this is all pruned up. This is the tree stand tree. And it's all back in here. You could probably put two in here if you want.
It used to not be like that. There used to not be one tree to set your stand up in. It's like, for real?
Well, bow hunting, you could get one going.
Yeah, somebody came in here and actually cleared some lanes and stuff. Very
I
cool.
like it because it's a little. You could have one coming in here, coming here.
I mean,
you can
it's
watch that
200
field.
yards.
At least you'll have something to look at rather
That's
than.
I
perfect
think
for
if
a
I
rifle.
did bow hunting in here, I'd put a ground blind in here, like
Middle.
right at near the junctions, but in that area there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, no doubt.
the range of a bow, you got to be up close.
Well, when this corn starts growing, you best believe they're going to be in here more.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's not even
rows in the fall.
Yeah.
If they leave a few rows right here, just wait for them to come.
Yeah.
I'm itchy once again.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, you keep rubbing those weeds, man.
I think 2 to 3 days after a good hard rain, it'll reset stuff and it'll give Bigfoot time to mingle out there for a couple nights.
I don't know if you guys you ever hear of Jesse James.
Which one, the old one or the biker guy?
I used to work with an ancestor of Jesse James from Sullivan.
Okay.
His name is Mark James, and he brought me down here to the Merrimack. We were further upstream, but he said, kind of like what you're pointing out, come after it rains, we would come to big open fields like this, close to the river. And he said, you don't know this right now, but we're on top of an Indian settlement right here. He gave me a call a couple days after it rained. He goes, let's go for a walk. Walked in here, literally you could just, you wouldn't see any plants growing before the plants came, but we go in the fall and in the winter. But the farmer would come in and till at the end of the fall. He would till and then it would rain. And And every year we go and find little spearheads, all kinds of stuff.
Arrowheads.
Yeah.
All through here, just thousands of them.
Oh, I bet, yeah. Well, that's a...
So wait, come out here a couple of days after it rains, tracks, and look for arrowheads.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
We have our research area. One of our members, Matt, he collects arrowheads, which was the biggest Indian settlement between Memphis and Cahokia. And he found these trailing piles where they just sit by creeks and chip away. And we find arrowhead quite often after a good rain. We pick them up, give them to my niece, whatever, you know, nieces.
Yeah, I found this little pendant, a black pendant, square with two little beveled edges. There was a hole, perfect hole in the center, and it was beveled on both sides. And he found a drill like 200 yards that way. He picked up the drill, we put it inside the pendant, fit perfectly.
1/4 inch, huh?
Yep.
A lot of little baby turkeys everywhere. Every time the turkeys fly off, I'm not recording. I don't get it. They're like, fly now.
You could do a little turkey wildlife
That's fun.
documentary while you're back here.
I know, right?
That was a good little flock of baby turkeys.
Yeah. Oh, there goes another little one.
Kind of like Philadelphia cream cheese, a little thinner.
It's hard.
Hardened up already?
Yep. We're good. It's where it needs to be.
But the ground was already warm.
Oh, yeah.
The secret to digging out prints is you can't be prying on it. It'll break it.
Really?
You got to take a little mini shovel and dig around it, kind of release it.
Okay.
I've messed some up that way.
I've just last few years I've just been a lot of hiking and 3 BFRO expeditions and some outings like this. I'm to the point now, you know, when you go on these BFRO outings, they're good, they're great, but they got these rules. You're kind of restricted. Like, you know, if we want to be flexible and do our own thing, we have that option with us independent research team. So I do a lot of independent research myself.
One guy I talked to, he said they had like 100 people out there at one time.
Yeah.
He said it was hard to hear anything.
They'll have a big group, but then they'll say 5 people, they'll break up and, you know, and they'll cover a huge national forest. And you guys might be 30 miles apart. So they do split people up, but they're, I don't know, have you been on a BFRO expedition? They record everything, like their little steps and procedures, you know, at Wood Knock at 9:32. If you're gonna make a call, you gotta announce the call, which is all okay, because you got multiple people out there, but you know, if you're just independent, you know, it's just you. You know, it's your small team. Yeah. So you get to really focus a lot more intimately, you know. Yeah.
Nobody wants a bunch of rules when you're out in the woods anyways.
Yeah. I tell you what, I learned a lot on techniques and just recording, like audio, and just tracks, and just the time, and
and that's good that they're documenting like the knocks and stuff, because it's like, what do you do with that information when you hear it? Who do you report it to? You know what I mean? Like, what does it even mean? But the fact that they're writing it down, maybe we'll come up with a bigger picture in the future.
Well, it's like any outdoor activity. It's like, on this day I heard this call. Here's the temperature, here's the humidity. So you can build a pattern of wildlife. So you build a profile of the area, time, location. You were here, you know. But I will say, the more people that you flood in, you know, and you come in as a group, like we're ripping through these forest roads. 6 vehicles. It gets a little. I like tiptoeing into a place. Yeah. Like we park here and we kind of tiptoe on in. You know.
I'm always solo, so when I go with like people I just met up with and we're talking and going in there, it's like in my mind I'm thinking we're not gonna see anything, but you never know. Just like that turkey, you know what I mean? It like waited till the last second till she knew she was busted.
Yeah.
So you never
hiding
know.
In that little shadow shaded spot.
You knew something was there. I could tell. You were.
I do a lot of animal tracking when I go hunting. I love tracking animals, and I listen, and I listen to the birds, like blue jays and crows, and you can start telling if something's going on in an area, and I'll just kind of go over there, and I'll, you know, your spidey senses start lighting up. And if you look at an area too, we're human, we're primates, you know.
Blue jays are really notorious about giving away other creatures or predators in the area. They're one of the noisier birds out in the woods.
They're jerks like that.
And I've actually found one time, me and Matt, we found a blue jay. I'll have to show you a picture, but it was dead on the ground. Its head was decapitated. We got to looking at it, about a foot away was the head from the body, and the head was smashed off, like the beak was all in like little pieces. And there's a rock about a foot away from its body. I picked the rock up, and there's a piece of fresh leaf right underneath it. So I'm thinking this is just a theory that the blue jay was aggravating the Bigfoot, pissing it off, pecking him on the head, giving away his location. So he chucked a rock at it. Problem solved.
You never know. I mean,
what caused it? It was in the middle of nowhere, and there was blood on the rock.
Yeah. You always know there's a big buck coming because the blue jays will be fussing at him all the way through the woods till he gets
Crows are
to an
pretty
opening.
good too about giving away something coming.
Yeah.
Crows.
And I see owls and crows often fighting. They don't like each other. They're like mortal enemies.
Turkeys and owls are enemies too.
Yeah, yeah. They
So I
don't
think
like
the
each
owls
other.
will eat the turkey eggs.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, look.
Don't let them fall.
Now I'm gonna be. Here's a picture of Steve faking stuff.
Yeah.
It is kind of cool though.
Now that's a vintage in mint condition. I got it off eBay.
Mm-hmm.
They don't sell it anymore.
So you think if you walk around with that, like deep in the woods, like holding like a
Might
baby?
have a mama come up to
You want to incite an action.
I've never thought about that. Wow.
Yeah,
Is it standing
And you're
straight
dealing
up?
with their babies, dude.
Yeah.
Walk through the woods.
But
with a
even the
backpack,
juveniles-
going like this. Look what I got for you.
You know, most people be like, "You guys are idiots." But if you're out here,
it might
try-
bring a female close.
I mean, what else are you gonna try? We don't know what works. That's why we're trying things.
it would be a male, maybe not, but a female, she might get kind of close.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna have you do is kind of hold it up in a shady spot without getting it like in the grass or getting it dirty. But I just want to see like what something black like that looks in the Missouri woods, because
Yeah. But the other thing.
yeah, there you go. See, it disappears almost.
Yeah.
See, it just looks like a black blob. I've seen that before out in the woods. Like a shadow like that. See, it starts just disappearing.
There we go.
I can't even see it. Like I see, it looks like a shadow in the woods.
He's got a movement going on. He's playing monkey man.
All right, let's get back a little further. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's hard to see, dude. That black, that jet black is almost impossible to see.
He's yanking it. he's hanging there. Look at that.
Like you see it.
Okay.
Yep.
That is really cool.
And this is nighttime. Once it gets cold or cooler at night,
Yeah.
the trees will hold heat from the sun. Like the side of a tree where the sun's been hitting on it.
Yeah.
It'll have that. But that thing will see out 1,200 yards.
That's legit, man. I want to get one of those.
Let me see that
Okay.
again.
They're about $2,000.
Well, I looked at
Look
the
how
FLIR
small it
one.
is.
The FLIR one was disappointing, and especially when you
This is
look
the
at it
best
on the
one.
SD card, it cuts it down in half. It takes out the resolution.
I was wondering, is it sensitive enough to catch foot heat prints of the feet?
Yes.
I was wondering about
Wow.
that.
I tell you what. Watch.
Because I was wondering about
Yes.
that. Here, I'm going to walk to the monkey.
I'll keep the plates out of the video, by the way.
Yeah. Look. You can see his feet.
I was
No
wondering,
way.
White. If it's winter time, it gets even darker.
because you can catch a Bigfoot run.
The ground is matching close to the body temperature of your feet.
Can you see it though? The footprints?
Yes. You're.
I
Yeah.
was
They
wondering
do.
about that. I was going to ask you, but I forgot
So
about
as you walk, you have to get back up a little bit and let him walk a ways. But it's actually kind of a light white outline around his feet. But if it,
my gosh.
but if it were winter,
It'd be red.
it'd be red in the wintertime because the ground is cold, but his feet are hot,
You're right.
and you're gonna see like glowing footprints, man,
Wow.
in the
Can't
wintertime.
see it. I was wondering about that.
All right. How you can record video with this?
Yeah, it does still shots and video. I think like 16 gig chip in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's impressive.
Usually use it like a monopod. You can shoot it over your shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and this has Bluetooth, and it streams into your phone in an app. So you can actually you can look over your shoulder, but not face the forest and look down on your screen. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're not looking at them. You are with this,
That's
or the
genius.
monkey face,
Yeah.
but you look down, you know?
Yeah,
That's my plan.
Yeah, that's a good plan, man. At least
It's Diane
people are actually
Fossey.
thinking about.
It's Diane Fossey and, Jane Goodall. That's the method they use in general when they face gorillas in the forest and monkeys in the forest.
Yeah. And do you
And
think the same rules apply to the Sasquatch? Because people get mad and they're
Well-
like, they're not monkeys, damn it. But at the same
There's
time,
somebody
they.
else in Missouri, Shane Carpenter.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard of
Is
him.
that his name? He's from southern Missouri,
Mhm.
Branson area, I think. He told me he followed Jane Goodall's method and he did it, and that's how they got their thermal.
Yeah.
Over the shoulder. They had one guy. It was a modified, like it was an old Cadillac thermal, but they got out of an old Cadillac. So you could see deer while you're driving down the road and avoid the deer. So they took this thermal camera off this Cadillac, and they had to lug a 12-volt battery around because it was a 12-volt power. And they're sitting around the campfire, and he aimed that thing over his shoulder, and they got one just playing around in the weeds across 100 yards away. Across the meadow, like on this area here, like on the edge of the tree over there. They had one going up and down. They just filmed it.
Yeah.
Over his shoulder, and he said over the shoulder.
Yeah, that guy's got a lot of good tracks. He's one of the leading, I'd say, researchers in Missouri, or has some of the best evidence. I would say.
He's very disciplined and methodical. That's what and he gave me some good tips on that.
Yeah.
Joe and Steve are independent researchers, and I had a lot of fun meeting up with them and looking around the forest for Sasquatch sign or any activity. I think we experienced some wood knocks. It sounded like it to me as it came from the center ridge, and it seemed to work its way to the left, but I don't know, that's what I heard. Maybe the other guys heard differently. We discussed the possibilities of starting a research group and getting out in these active areas and looking for signs and evidence. I think it would be really cool, and they're a group of good guys, and I look forward to getting out with them again. If you guys enjoy watching these types of videos, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and there will certainly be more in the future.